Hello Libra, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Libra is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider hitting the subscribe button, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we begin with the Princess of Swords. Now, this is an energy that's usually geared toward learning. Okay, like we're lifelong students. That we're always we're always trying to understand things better. That we're always trying to get more clarity, more information. We're trying to learn. This is the student vibe. We don't feel like we're the expert. We don't feel like we are the teacher, right? We are letting ourselves try and fail. We're letting ourselves struggle. We're giving ourselves permission. We're allowing ourselves, giving ourselves space, right, to try and not be very good at something right away. We realize that, for anything in life, we have to start at white belt. It doesn't matter what you've done before, but you're involved in something now where it's like, I've got to allow myself the room to not know what I'm doing. Because that's how we gain knowing what we're doing, right? That's how we gain mastery or adeptship at something, right? We start from that place of, I'm a student, I'm a novice, I'm a neophyte, and I need to learn, I need to grow, right? I'm a new plant here, right? The neophyte, the newly planted. So I feel like you're trying to do that right now in your life, trying to penetrate into something that may be different than what you're used to doing. Maybe you are a master at a great many things, but there's something here that we're not masters at. And so this card is reminding us to be the student. It's okay to be the neophyte. We all have to start from that place where we're learning, we're growing, and we're going to blossom into, kind of whatever the beautiful flower is here that we're cultivating. Okay, let's put this into a little bit of context. Context is everything, right? Context is everything. And there we have now a higher understanding of something. So automatically we see the progression, a maturation, the princess to the queen, right? And it's not gender specific, but it does represent this going from the newly planted energy to now a higher perspective, a deeper understanding and wisdom about something, okay? We have a Three of Cups. We have the very nice Princess of Pentacles. We have a Knight of Pentacles. Again, we see a progression going from, hey, there's potential here, to I can see now exactly what the future is, and I'm embodying this potential, right? I wonder if this is going to be the Empress card. Oh, it's a Seven of Swords. Okay, well, immediate future, there are distractions, and I think that's perfectly on point, because when we're engaged in something new like this, there will be a great many occasion where the ego is saying, well, I don't like it so much, let me do something else. We don't want to be, nobody likes to be a white belt. Nobody wants to be the neophyte, right? Because then it's kind of, it's humbling in a way. Yeah. And so the Seven of Swords is that humbling, that intellectual humbling, right? And it sort of, it pushes the ego a little bit, and the ego may say, well, this was not right for me. I am not built for that, or I made the wrong choice. I'm going to go do something else, right? The ego will start to produce a lot of excuses, a lot of reasons why. This wasn't where I'm not quitting. This just wasn't meant for me, So let's keep going, though. I like the Seven of Swords. I think it's very appropriate in that position, but we have a Three of Wands, Three of Cups. Very, very good. We see the Death card. We see the Ace of Pentacles. And we see a very lovely Art or Temperance card. And so this really is a message for you today of not giving up not starting something else that you think may be easier, maybe less of a challenge, or don't let the ego make those excuses that say, "Oh, I just made the wrong choice. I'm not quitting. It's not that I'm giving up. I made a wrong turn. That wasn't for me. I need to go over and do this," right? Because that's what we don't want. The Ace of Pentacles is what we don't want. We don't want to start over from white belt. We certainly don't want to quit in the middle of this and then go start over at white belt somewhere else, because guess what? The ego is going to run into the same problem. Unless, of course, the ego goes and finds something that is just easier, more familiar, something it's already done before, and then we're not in this growth or learning process anyway. So we're trying to avoid this energy. This is in the position of the obstacle, okay? And that obstacle is really the ego accepting that, yeah, sometimes we have to start from white belt, and that's okay. That anything worth doing is worth doing right. Yeah. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it right over here with our little nameless sea turtle friend. I guess not everything needs a name, right? We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we're looking for. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, leave something down in the comments, okay? Now, let's look around the room. I like the major arcana that we see. We see two cards of transformation. We see the Death card, right? And that is major transformation over the course of a lifetime. It's slow and steady. Right? The Death card is a slow and steady change over the course of time. Death isn't in a hurry. It's going to get to everybody eventually, right? So this is kind of the way it seems like, my analogy, the go-to is like we're going to the gym. I'm lifting the weights every day, and my ego doesn't like it. My body doesn't like it. I protest, right? Because I go home, I look in the mirror, and it's like, I still look the same. My muscles, they're no different. Well, I'll force myself to go back again tomorrow, and I go back tomorrow, and I do the same thing, and I look in the mirror again that evening. Nothing's changed, right? But we know that if we were to look back even a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, we can see drastic changes. But the changes are subtle day to day. And every time I lift the weight, I look, nothing's different, right? And so that's the Death card. It's slow and steady transformation over the course of time, the way a river will slowly alter the landscape. That rain falling from the sky will slowly etch a new picture in the rock face and in the land. It's slow and steady over time, but one drop of water, we say that didn't change anything. But you do that over a long period of time, and we see a great change. Okay. And I think that the art card here is the way we sort of do that, the way we recognize that, because the art card is the blacksmith's anvil, right? The art card is the temperance card, and I always think of the temperance not as trying to mediate or moderate between two extremes. I feel like the temperance card is really about tempering some metal into steel, right? Really, it's the blacksmith's anvil. And we put ourselves on the anvil, or sometimes life does it to us. We may think that's fate, right? Things happen to us. Suddenly I find myself in the pressure cooker. And we're being banged around, and we're being molded and shaped into who we're meant to become, right? So we have two cards of transformation here. And it really is saying if we stick with it, this is going to be absolutely extraordinary. But, we have to, long term, we have to stay in the pressure cooker. We have to keep going back and doing the thing. We're starting at white belt. Let's say you just started jiu-jitsu. Maybe you're an expert at karate, you're an expert at judo, but you're starting something new. I don't know, you're Krav Maga or jiu-jitsu or something. And you're starting at that white belt. If you stick with it long enough, you will be a master there too. But we have to keep going back every day or twice a week or whatever the schedule is in order to grow and develop not only in the skill and not only in our mind but in the body as well, right? This is mind and body here. So we have our majors. We've got a little bit of fire, a little bit of water. And then what we have is 1, 2, 3 air, 1, 2, 3 earth. So this is about the challenge, the resistance of the mind. And if your mind is resisting it a little bit, And mind, really, to me, is the thinking faculty. The ego, categorizing, making reasons for things, separating things, assigning labels to things, and it's the mind doing what it does, but it's that ego consciousness. It's the thoughts that we have consciously in our head. If the ego is resisting something, it's probably a very good thing, right? It's probably very worthwhile. Because it's challenging the ego. It's challenging us intellectually, and this might be an intellectual pursuit. Maybe it's something like school or something of that nature. A university course. Maybe it is just a new technical skill. But even something physical, there's that mental component. It's like when you learn to drive a car. You got to think about it while you're doing it. You have to receive the instruction through your ear and your eyes and all that stuff too. But it enters the mind as new information, and the ego, the mind, the mind stuff, right, has to register that information and then convert that into bodily movements. It's like your driving instructor says, okay, you're going to slow down here a little bit, come to a stop, and then you consciously think, okay, step on the brake and hold the wheel straight and not too hard on the brake and nice, easy stop. At some point, that becomes rather automatic. It becomes something that is, they call it muscle memory, but really it's a neural pathway that's so, it's so well established. It's such a deep groove in our mind that it just, our mind, sort of our brain, just tells the body what to do without the ego conscious awareness or involvement, right? It kind of goes into the automatic consciousness. That you see the stop sign, you register it, you stop. You could be having a conversation with yourself or with a passenger, but your body sees the stop sign and your mind does the thing. It's kind of automatic, And so I feel like that's kind of what's going on here. I don't know exactly what you're involved with, but we see a lot of air and a lot of earth. So this is about learning new things. First of all, the Queen of Swords here as the evolution of the princess. That we start at white belt. That we start at the bottom where we're listening, paying attention, and we're saying, the instructor is saying, okay, now you're going to slowly let off of the brake, and you're slowly going to press on the gas very gently. You're going to check all your mirrors, 1, 2, 3. You're going to hold the wheel and do X, Y, and Z, a little bit left, a little bit right, 5-degree down bubble, and we do it consciously. And the first 1,000 repetitions of something, right? We have to do so calmly. Slowly, deliberately, with we have to pay attention, basically, right? You pay attention for so long, and then you don't have to pay attention anymore. That's the way life is. Because it reaches the level of understanding. It kind of gets deposited into this different area of our soul, mind, brain, wherever it goes. And it becomes something, it becomes a skill that we know. It becomes something that we've learned how to do. Okay, so the princess is that energy that has to pay attention and has to strive, has to learn, has to try. Okay, can't just be distracted and looking out the window and fiddling with the radio. It's not going to learn the thing. Okay, so at the beginning it may feel like there's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of having to pay attention for something. And whatever it is, you do it often enough, it becomes a habit, becomes so-called muscle memory, right? The Queen is, I think, what you're approaching in your life, I think very soon. I think it's going to happen faster than you think. And you're going to have this deeper understanding of this subject, of this skill, of this project, this new thing, whatever it might be. And I don't know what it is, and I don't think it matters. I think what matters is that you have the fire and the water underneath you, of course. But the Queen is a higher understanding of something. It is reaching that level of maturity where all of the learning that we have been doing, right? This is the card of learning. We're at white belt. This now becomes a deeper understanding. And so this kind of qualifies you to teach the subject because you not only do you know it through repetition and it's kind of like it's become automatic, but you have a deeper grasp of what it is and why things have to be done the way they do, why things have to function that way. This is not just, I've learned the material. This is, I really understand it. And there's a difference there. There's a major difference there, because knowledge, just having the data, is not the pinnacle of our learning, right? We want to understand why things are how they are. It's one thing to memorize the multiplication table, but to understand why the numbers do the things they do, or why the equations work the way they do, right? I'm terrible at math. This is a bad example. Or maybe it's a good example, right? Because I have not reached that stage of, the Queen of Swords in math, right? And no secret, I'm bad at math, right? I'm maybe intermediate algebra at the most. There isn't a deeper understanding yet for me. And maybe one day I'll go back and I'll try to continue my learning education and my understanding. I'll try to develop the understanding of it. But I think that you're reaching that point. Okay? But we have to get through the mental resistance of the Seven of Swords. So let's get the Seven of Swords out of the way, because this is, of course, immediate future. This is going home at the end of the day and saying, my muscles don't look any bigger. How do I keep myself going? There are a lot of distractions. For one thing, this is the student driver in the car that's looking at the birds outside, that's fiddling with the radio, that's on their phone or something ridiculous like that, when they're supposed to be paying attention to the road and to their instructor and, driving with full attention, right? This is that kind of immediate distraction. Okay. But this is also something a little bit deeper than that, because this is the mind, because of a lot of factors, unconscious factors, history, and just, the nature of the ego itself saying, let's do something that's easier. It's not that it's too hard. It's not that I can't do it. It's not that I'm quitting, but I don't think I'm supposed to be a driver of cars, right? I just don't think that's for me. It's my excuse with math. Well, I'm never going to really use it. I'm not trying to be a rocket scientist. So, it's not that I can't do math. It's not that it's too hard. It's not that I'm giving up or quitting. It just doesn't apply to me. It's not really part of my life. All these things that we tell ourselves when we really don't want to do something. It's too hard, and we have an aversion toward it. We give ourselves these reasons why it's just not meant for me, right? So we deal with that. And we realize that we make those excuses sometimes. We all do it. We're all human. I think most of us, anyway. So this is the immediate future. This is the mental resistance that we have to go through. And if we're experiencing this mental resistance, we know we're onto something, right? If the mind says, I don't want to do it, or I'm making excuses, that's something we know we have to do. If it's exercise, if it's financial goals, if it's learning, education, university, if it's a new skill, if it's some sport or martial art, if it's really anything, a new job that we've started, and we're the new kid on the block there, right? Maybe you're starting a new job, maybe you're involved in some kind of a new project. Let's look at the background to this, because we see the Princess of Pentacles. The Princess of Pentacles is something that starts off as kind of a empty, dry, barren landscape. Nothing's really growing there, right? It's some place we've identified and we said, I can grow a garden there. I can till the soil and I can churn everything up, put some good soil there, and I can really plant some seeds, and it could be really, really nice. This is the energy that will eventually blossom into the Empress. All of the pentacles will eventually blossom into the Empress energy, right? But right now, all the verdant energy is down below. This is the dead of winter. And it's kind of it's dry, sterile, barren, empty, cold, frigid. But we know that very soon, all the abundance will spring forth from it. So I feel like this is something that you're starting, that we enter into it, and it's just a dry bunch of sticks and dead trees, and I don't want to build anything here. This isn't the place for a garden, right? But it's kind of this is what we're investing in. And I think your Knight of Pentacles can see that there is great potential here. That this really, if I apply myself, if I learn and grow, this is going to open up worlds to me. It's like someone who realizes that I don't know the first thing about driving a car. I don't like cars. I'm kind of scared of cars. I look at a car and I just think this is a big hunk of metal that I don't want to have anything to do with. But then the Knight of Pentacles up here kind of wakes up and says, yeah, you know what? I can see the future. And right now you're looking at the long-term outcome of this, and you're thinking, this Princess of Pentacles is going to become the Empress. This is a worthwhile investment. This is something that you're investing time, effort, energy, and maybe money into. The Knight of Pentacles is looking at the future and thinking, who am I, where am I, and what am I doing down the road from this? Is this a road I want to be on? Okay? And what we're seeing, I think, very immediately is distraction, hardship, right? We're seeing the pressure cooker. And so from that ego point of view, we're kind of thinking like, well, all I see on this path is difficulty, right? But with that Princess of Pentacles back here, we know deep down that this has the potential to be really, really amazing. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe this is a, the new job. Maybe this is that new investment, that new project that you're going to start, or you're going to start working on. We're able to see past the difficulty and see how this is really going to see. I think the Knight of Pentacles, not really looking forward at this, looking forward at the Art or Temperance card and thinking that, yeah, look, this is going to be a challenge for me, but this is a challenge that is going to mold and shape me into the person I want to become. This is going to mold and shape my life into what I want my life to be. You know, kind of looking at like, imagine all the places I can go if I learn how to drive, or imagine all the doors that will open up to me if I sort of understand math, you know? And I guess some futures are more difficult to imagine than others. But we're seeing that through the struggle and through this pressure cooker, through this blacksmith's anvil, is the life I want, is the person I want to be. Okay. Now we have the Three of Cups underneath everything. This is a foundational energy. Underneath the surface, there is a potential. There is a love here. There is an abundance that you feel inside of you. To me, this is the potential for a lot of joy. And it's kind of like, it's that gut feeling that says, imagine when you become an expert at driving a car. Imagine when you understand the concept of driving, right? And it has become muscle memory, but you have that deeper understanding of why things are the way they are. And it kind of like, especially with driving, I've noticed this all the time, that we kind of develop a sixth sense for driving. How many times have you, and these are for those of you that drive, how many times have you been in the car and you'll just be able to intuitively guess what other drivers are going to do? Oh, that driver's going to hit that thing. They're going to cut that person off. They're going to slam on their brakes in about 2 seconds. And sure enough, they do, right? And whether that's some psychic sense or if it's just our ability, our body has been trained now to pick up on all the subtle clues beneath the threshold of awareness. Right? So I feel like this 3 is really the potential, right? We understand like all the joy that is going to result from this. We see that this has the potential for tremendous abundance. See, it's a 3. 3 is still an energy that's in potential. It's kind of saying something's brewing in this, something is under the surface, something is starting to come alive, and we know that it's going to manifest and it's going to be glorious, right? So this is, I think, us realizing that under the surface of the Princess of Pentacles is all this verdant energy of abundance. See all the green at the bottom of the card? And we know that this has the potential to be really extraordinary. So that gives us a deeper kind of soul level desire that will push us through the ego resistance, the mental resistance of something. Now, on the path of the Serpent, we got the 3 of Wands, okay? And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit the subscribe button, okay? These readings are totally free. The 3 of Wands is your general energy. This is discipline. This is a command of your energy. This is the virtue that you possess. And really, the virtue is your ability to do the right thing even when the mind is resisting, even when other people might resist. Now, what if the 7 of Swords is not so much you kind of mentally talking yourself out of it? What if that is other people saying, oh gosh, I can't believe you want to drive a car. Oh, I can't believe that you're trying to learn math. Ew, yuck. What if that's negative energy coming in from other people, criticism, right? The haters. Right? And sometimes we'll say, oh yeah, no, math is silly. I don't want to do math. That's dumb. right? Or, yeah, you're right, I'm not going to drive a car. That's ridiculous. And so we sort of succumb to that energy coming from outside. This is your virtue. This is your ability to do the thing because you know it's the right thing. You know that this has the potential of a lifetime for you, that this is the path that you're supposed to be on. This is really good for you. And to become the person we want to become, we have to go through the pressure cooker. So this is your ability to say, okay, I'm willingly entering into this process, and I'm going to study, or I'm going to learn, or I'm going to practice, or I'm going to show up to work every day, and I'm going to take notes, and I'm going to, I'm going to become the person I need to become so I can have the life that I want to have. The Three of Wands is your ability to do that regardless of what your own ego might tell you and what other people might tell you. Doing the right thing no matter who's watching. Doing the right thing even when nobody's watching. And so we don't have to front. We don't have to just in the middle of it, we say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this and I can. And then when we're by ourselves, we just we don't do it. This is somebody who, like the shadow side of this card anyway, would be somebody who is, they pay a great amount of attention. I used to be this way when I was taking drum lessons. You go to the drum lesson, you're with your instructor, and you're all about it, right? Oh yeah, I practice every day. I'm really doing it. I'm struggling. It's hard work, but I'm doing it, And we get the accolades from the instructor. The instructor says, that's a good job, And then we go home and we don't practice. When we're alone, we don't do anything. As soon as somebody's looking at us, we're like, oh yeah, here I am working hard. And then they leave again and we're just like, oh, I'm not doing this. It's George Costanza in Seinfeld. Remember that? Where anytime anybody was looking at him at work, he would just be busy. He would be shuffling papers and he'd be picking up the phone and he'd be just really stressed out like he was a hard worker. But then as soon as they'd leave, he would just kick his feet up on the desk, and be like, this is easy, right? I'm not doing anything. And this would be me, going home and not practicing my drum technique at all and just being lazy and not wanting to do it. Whereas the virtue of this card is saying even when nobody's watching, we're still doing what we need to do. Yeah, this is who we are and how we behave when nobody's looking. Nobody's going to notice. We're going to notice. Right? This is our true self is going to notice. Right? And so we put ourselves into that process of long-term transformation. The Death card in the environment is kind of saying that we have to let go of things so we can reclaim the energy to devote to this new learning process. Okay, so the first thing this is going to be is we're creating time and space. That if we want to really get good at this, we have to schedule some time for practice. If I really want to be good at playing the drums or good at math or good at driving a car, I've got to create time and space for it. You say, well, I'm too busy to exercise. I'm too busy to go to the gym. I've got too many other things that I've got to do. Well, okay, maybe I don't really care about it that much. Maybe it doesn't seem to be a priority. I'm trying to be more active. I'm trying to ride this recumbent bicycle that I bought. I'm trying to do it every day. I've been slacking. Okay, I don't like to admit it. I've been slacking on it. And, there's a lot of reasons why. And one of the reasons is that I've not prioritized it. I could create the time and space to do it. If I really cared about it and I really prioritized it, I would. Right now, there's a lot of things going on and I'm not prioritizing it. I'm making excuses saying there's other things I need to do first. There's other things that are more important to me right now. And that needs to change, of course. I got to get back on it, But the Death card is reminding us of that fact, that if we want to get good at anything, if we want to develop that deep understanding and that sort of muscle memory of something, if we want to master something or whatever the goal is in this case, we've got to devote the time and space to it, which means we have to let other things go, shuffle our priorities, and give more time and space to the thing. You got to schedule time to practice. You want to get good at driving the car, you got to drive the car sometimes. You got to learn. You got to practice. You got to do the math problems at home. You got to do the homework, And if you find yourself not needing to do the homework, you probably didn't pick a task or a skill that was hard enough for you. If it's not hard, if you don't have to practice, then you're not really doing anything. you're not really growing or learning anything, So the death card then is also that the slow and steady change over the course of time. If we're expecting overnight change, we're in for a surprise. If we're putting things off until tomorrow, then we're kind of in for a surprise, because tomorrow is always tomorrow. The death card always reminds me of when I was drinking alcohol. I'd go to this one liquor store and they had a sign on the wall that said, "Free beer tomorrow." And I would say, "Yeah, all right, I'm coming back tomorrow." I'd get back tomorrow, and sure enough, the sign, "Free beer tomorrow." It was always going to be tomorrow. The day we're waiting for is never going to arrive. The only day we have is right now. This is the hourglass, right? Where there's sand up top, there's sand down below. The only sand we're aware of, the only sand that matters, is the sand that's passing right before our eyes right here in this moment. Okay? Now, the Ace of Pentacles is the energy we don't want. We don't want to start over. We don't want to begin a new path. It sucks. It sucks to go back to white belt, especially if we've already been white belt and we've gotten a certain level of progress in some other area of life. Maybe you had a job and you were a master at it. Maybe we've switched careers. Maybe you're an expert at karate, but now you're going to do judo or something, and you got to start over. All right? So the Ace of Pentacles is that first step on the path, but this becomes the most difficult because nobody wants to be the neophyte. Nobody wants to be the new employee coming in and saying, "Hey, I'm here. Guess what? I don't know anything." We don't want to be the greenhorn. We don't want to be the neophyte or the white belt. But everybody starts out here. Everybody who's ever done anything in life has started out on step 1. Okay. It's the most challenging step. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Yeah. And this is that first step. It's the first step into the pressure cooker, into that art or temperance card, which we know that over the course of time, we're going to get banged around. It's going to be rough. We know that we're going to have days where we just don't want to do it anymore. We want to quit. We know that it's a challenge. That is the blacksmith's anvil. And who in their right mind would go lay on the blacksmith's anvil, put their soul or their mind or their body on the blacksmith's anvil where we know the hammer is going to come down? Okay? I think that the message, part of the message here, especially with that Sagittarius energy, it's kind of a combination of water and fire, which we have down here, a combination of water and fire. I think that despite the hardship, the difficulty, and the mental resistance, we know that by putting in the work, we're going to get that kind of foundational satisfaction. This is a long, hard day at the gym. My muscles don't look any different, but I get home and I take the hot shower, the hot bubble bath, and I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I feel an abundance in me. I feel a joy. And it's kind of like when we do the right thing, it feels good. When we act from our virtue, even if it's difficult, even if the ego is saying, no, it feels good. It's a deeper reward system that we feel. It's like you find a wallet on the street. And sure, your ego might be saying, take the money. We really could use the money. Throw the wallet away. Take the cash. But no, we turn it into the establishment where we found it, or we put it in the mailbox, or I don't know what you do with it. You turn it in somewhere, or you mail it to the address on the driver's license, or whatever the case is. And so we're doing a virtuous thing. And you know what? It feels good. It would have felt good to ego to just kind of take the money. But it feels good to do the right thing. And I think that this is kind of that reward system. Despite being in the pressure cooker, despite being the neophyte and, trying to get through the mental resistance or ego resistance, it feels good when we do the right thing. These are two very foundational cards. These are two very spiritual energies. The number 3, right? Very spiritual energy. Yeah, it represents the deeper aspect of our spiritual nature. Yeah, doing the right thing on that fundamental, foundational level, it feels good. Well, yeah, this is the sort of practical, mental, and physical aspects of things, and it doesn't always feel good. We're getting banged around in the pressure cooker, on the anvil, but there's something that feels good about it, right? It's like you're doing the math. You're doing the math homework, and it sucks, and I'm mentally stressed out about it. I don't like it, but there's something that feels good. There's something that's satisfying about it, because I know I'm doing the right thing, doing what I'm supposed to do. I want to look at the mystery card. I want this to be the Empress, because that's what we're sort of trying to create of ourselves, of the situation. We want this investment to really blossom, right? Whatever it might be. Maybe this is literally an investment of time, effort, energy, maybe money, okay? So that's my only prediction, Empress. If you have a guess, though, an idea, a hunch, put it in the comment right now. Let's see. The Queen of Wands. Okay, another combination of water and fire. So this is perfectly in line with what I just talked about. Perfect. The queens are the watery aspect of the suit that they're in. This is a combination of water and fire. It's fire on the outside, water on the inside. It's that I'm doing virtuous things externally. I'm projecting this, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. When I say virtue, it's not any kind of a judgment energy. It's what I feel to be the right thing, deep down, beyond ego level, beyond ego consciousness. What's the right thing here, okay? When we're doing that, it feels good. We got the water inside there. This is an energy that doesn't need the ego gratification. I don't need to feel the rewards at the end of every day in that sort of superficial way. I don't need the ego gratification every moment. There's a deeper joy here. The Queen of Wands, in fact, doesn't even like the pleasure, because it is motivated from that deeper level. So it doesn't, and really it doesn't want the ice cream at the end of the day. It doesn't want the bubble bath at the end of the day, because that's going to extinguish the fire. And this is an energy that kind of says, well, it's going to make me soft, that I don't want the pleasure. They don't want the satiety. They just like the eating. They like the hunger. Okay. They're satisfied by something more primal, deeper, maybe even more simple, more foundational, more fundamental. They don't need the ego rewards. Yeah. The Queen of Wands doesn't like satiety. The Queen of Wands, the kryptonite for the Queen of Wands is the Ten of Cups. This energy does not want that level of satisfaction, because it puts the fire out. So this is that part of us that feels that doing the work is the reward. Doing the thing that we're supposed to do, that's the reward. Anything else is going to kind of put the flame out. So I like this energy for you right now. I think that it is showing that this is, you're tremendously, I don't even want to say ambitious. I think you're really fired up about this thing you're doing. There will be the mental resistance, but I think it's absolutely worth your effort. Also, the Sagittarius energy. This is a Sagittarius power card, and so is the Queen of Wands. It's a mutable, this is a mutable fire energy. So strong Sagittarius influence for you right now. I'd watch the Sagittarius reading that we just did, and then watch the next one that we do as well. Okay. Now we're going to do an extended reading. We're going to do, we'll do a hexagram from the Jing. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top, and there is a link down below. New readings for Libra, usually Wednesdays and Saturdays. I feel like you needed this bonus reading. I don't know if you're just considering doing this, or if you're kind of already going through some of the doubts, right? So I feel like you needed a bonus reading today. Be sure to watch your other readings anyway. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and we're all in this together.